Change things up a little bit to try to get some pass rush. And I assume you don't want to get into specifics, but just, I mean, how important is figuring something out there?
Well, I think like on most good third downs, there's a mixture between the four-man rush and the pressures, and that's really when we're at our best. So for us, it's about improving, and really that's, at the core of our football is like, how much better can you get? Not just as our scheme, that's my job to help with that. And then as a rusher, for those four guys working together. And then the last part is just knowing that, when we get the good four-man rush, let's make sure our coverage is tight, and vice versa. There's been some terrific coverage where our rush wasn't connected like we'd like. So I think it'll be a mixture of ways that we can affect the QB moving forward. But I think it really going to come down to, at the end, like, how much better can we get? And I think with, like, the philosophy of our program, like when we're out there in competition Wednesday and we're out there today, how much better between me going against you and pushing as hard as we can, that's really where it's at for us too.
You guys have stressed how much rotations can help you there. Cliff and Michael have had to play more snaps here over the last stretch here. How much is that affecting the rush in your opinion?
I don't know if it's necessarily affecting it, but I think we have to be smart about it because we know there's a long season ahead still. And so we know we're at our best when we can rotate more guys. So we have to be cautious of that.
On third downs, what's the distance you guys ideally would like the other team to be in to give your rush kind of a good chance?
Really, it's like anything over 6. So a lot of times teams will break down, short yardage is usually third down and 1. And then we even track 3rd and 2 sometimes separately. And then 3 to 6 is generally the quick intermediate stuff. And then once you start getting past 7, 8, 9, 10s, that's really when you're kind of at your best. So for us, the problem that we've had the most part in was that lower area between the 2 and the 6. So one that we've addressed and trying to correct to get it as tight as we can.
Have you been in enough third and longs that you guys would like to be in, or is that something that...
I think so, yeah. It depends on the game. Last week, no, but the week prior we were. So, in fact, one of the long ones against us was a 3rd and 14, 3rd and 20. So I think we had 2 in that game. So usually it works out in terms of the course of the season, how many you get over 12 plus, how many are in that longer distance where we go 7 to 11. So yeah, each category kind of calls for specific things. And usually it's based on the offense as well.
Backs and tight ends have seemed to have more success against you this year. Any rhyme or reason that you can point to on that front?
Not necessarily a rhyme or reason, because for us it's been a mixture of things where we've played some pressure, some four-man, so not necessarily a connection about a certain specific player or like that position, not necessarily the style of the player. Does that make sense?
Is there anything in the red zone that teams are having more success this year?
Not necessarily a common theme, I wouldn't say. For us, we always look to see is there, one route that comes back up, and that'd be important for us, to make sure that one doesn't happen again. But as we go through, each team has their own, identity in the red zone, so not necessarily the same routes, from week to week. But generally, you see a team say, this play caller really likes this in the red zone. That's one that we try to emphasize during that week.
Is Carolina doing anything peculiar with tight ends? How much they throw to them?
One of the things that, with 88, with Olsen, he's a really good tight end, and not just in the passing game, although he's, their leading catcher with him in 13, but a lot of regard and respect from our end on him just from his whole game, what he does in the run game, what he does in the pass game. He's, for us, somebody that we hold in high regard.
Bobby Wagner's been pretty key for you the last 2 years in defending Cam's ability to get out on those.
Sure.
You're not going to have him this week. How much of a change is that for you?
Well, fortunately for us, with Malcolm and KJ moving over, 2 guys that we completely trust, into our system, and they're going to play well like we expect them to. So although we're missing Bobby, for us with KJ and Malk here, how fortunate are we, to have, players of that caliber who can play and take over, especially KJ, where he can play, multiple spots too.
How have you felt about the interior pass rush this year, or I guess of late in particular?
Yeah, really overall, it's and when we talk about pass rush, it's everybody. So inside, outside, as blitzers. So I kind of generally think of that one like in pass rush, how do we affect the QB? And it may be a tackle, it may be an end, it may be a rusher outside. So we think of everybody in that one. I know it sounds, let's not just put it on one spot. When we talk about rushers, it's really an affecting the QB. It might be the attitude and the way that we blitz, or just the style of an inside or an outside guy.
You guys blitz more this year?
Not necessarily by percentage more. So it's in the same neighborhood of what we've been in the past. So like I said, as we go further, usually get a better read, and some of the ones are by down and distance, but certain games may call for more than others have, but it kind of balances out, if that makes sense. Some games you may say, man, they pressured a lot, and then other ones not quite as much. So I think over the long part, it's kind of when you get your averages of it.
I was right in the middle last week. First time. How do you do?
You know what I thought for the first time back inside, good, and what a challenging game for them in the run game. So I thought KJ played well, and we have such an appreciation for him of how he'll play. He really did a good job.
Good. Thanks, Coach.
All right, you got it, guys. Have a good one.